All right. And we are back on Husky Hoops. And for the first weekend in a while, well, no, not probably for a while, a great weekend for both teams pulling out victories. And we were very happy to especially see the men with the Marquette game. But since we have Maria, who I know has other duties, we appreciate your time. And I wanted to start, obviously, with your thoughts. I mean, you called it even before the Butler game that they played. They had two games last week, Butler and DePaul. And DePaul, they took care of business. Butler, they took care of business. No surprises there. The scoring, amazing. It's good to see AZ and Caitlin. I like seeing Caitlin play and score a little bit more against DePaul, but I guess they could have put in just about anyone to score against DePaul. What were your thoughts on the DePaul game?
Yeah, I mean, I think both games went as we thought they would. I mean, we're shooting lights out right now. So,
Yeah.
um, hard team to beat when everybody's flying on all cylinders. I think these games have given El Afi, I thought she looked
Yes.
really good in both games. Not that she's like scoring 20 a game, but just the way she's, elbow through in the post and the way she's finishing around the rim, I think is a really big positive for them. Man, you are always on the Caitlin Chen, like,
I think she's great, man. I think she can do more, and
yeah, but I mean, I think she's doing exactly what they need her to
what
do.
they need her to do. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I've said this before, like I do think that you'll see some games. I mean, she had one like a week and a half ago where she'll break out and
Yeah.
she'll score
Against
some stuff,
Nova.
but
Yep.
I mean, you got to remember, like I always say this when I was in college, I was like the fourth option. So
Right.
if I got like 5, 6 shots off in a game, that was a lot. But I contributed in a lot of other ways that helped us win, getting people to their spots, controlling the offense, playing solid D. So I think she's doing all of those things. Um, I think we've talked about this before, and I've said this like I think the hard part is the comparison to her between her and Nika from last year.
Of course.
Um, because Nika did put up statistically some more stuff, but they also didn't have as many threats
No.
last year as
No,
they
like
did
they do
this year.
now.
They didn't have Sarah. AZ was out. So
Right.
I think on the perimeter, you're just seeing a little bit more of, passing between the three of them, that the point guard just really needs to get them settled into that set. So I like what I see. I mean, obviously, tomorrow is going to be a huge test on the road versus Tennessee. Um, and Joe, I don't know if you've been able to watch them play at all, but I was actually talking with Morgan this morning and we were laughing because it's Tennessee, but it looks like a totally different Tennessee program. It's
Totally
not
different.
as yeah, it's not as I don't know how to describe it. Like back in
Well,
the
they're not
day,
big. They're
they're
not
not big.
big.
They're super quick. I mean,
Right.
they probably are the fastest team in the country, I would say, from a speed perspective. So I think that'll be a challenge for UConn because the Big East is like the anti-fast in a lot of
Right.
ways.
Right.
Um, so I think and they are still pretty physical. I think their guards are more physical than what we see in the Big East, but I think the speed factor is going to be a big one. So I'm excited. I hope I have a snow day tomorrow so that I'm not missing the first half of the game. But I think that's going to be a huge test for us. So, um, and I think it can go either way. Like prediction
Yeah.
wise, I could see us going in there and winning by 20. I
Yep.
could see us going in there and losing by 10.
Right.
I think foul trouble will play into it a lot because I think their guards have the ability to get downhill, where it's going to force our guards to really move their feet on defense. Or if we're getting beat off the dribble, we might be putting our bigs into some compromising situations, having to help. So I think staying out of foul trouble is going to be a big one for us tomorrow.
Yeah. Four guards. Uh, two of
Oh
whom are five
wow.
seven and 5'9", Spencer and Boyd. The Spear kid is 5'10" and comes off the bench averaging 12 points per game. I think the big key, Maria and guys, is when you're playing in a hostile environment like that, against a team that likes to get up and down the floor, you got to get off to a good start, because if you don't, then those 23,000 lunatics start singing Rocky Top every 5 minutes or every 2 minutes, and it just gives them more momentum. Kim Caldwell, as you said, Maria, has come in, and it's a whole different Tennessee team from Coach Summit and Kelly Jolly.
Yeah, she's doing a great job too.
She's been great.
They had one game this year where they took 63 threes. So like they shoot a lot of threes. They play really, really fast. And
it's like an NBA style. It's like watching the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, if they take 63s tomorrow, even if they make 15 of them, right? Like you're talking 45 points right there, and that's before anything else is said and done. So I really think it's our guard play tomorrow, and I think we're going to have to play small tomorrow.
Right.
So I don't know if we'll see, El Affy in the starting lineup. Maybe we will, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sarah play the 5 tomorrow to start the game.
Well, I think you can get away with that because they're not that big. Their biggest starter is 6'4".
Yeah.
So you can get away with Sarah at the 5. Although I don't think they'll start that way, but I think they'll play the majority of the game that way.
I agree.
I think that's the thing. And look, in a game like this, your best players have to be your best players. Paige can't go 5 for 16 and expect them to win. Paige got to be Paige. She's got to be the Lieberman finally. She's got to be the number 1 draft pick. And I think she will be, because she and she talked about it after practice yesterday. These are the games that players like that and Fudd and Sarah Strong live for, environments like that. Now, they haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't remember off the tippy top of my bald little head, but I don't think they haven't been in a road environment like that this year, because all the games against ranked teams have either been home court or neutral court.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And not only that, but I don't think any of these kids have played at Tennessee, which
Paige has.
Maybe her freshman year, because and
AZ was hurt. AZ and Paige were hurt the other 2 times. Aubrey probably has, but Aubrey's not quite where they want her to be yet, obviously, coming off basically.
And none of them have lost to Tennessee either. They've never lost. I think the last time UConn lost to Tennessee was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's been a while. It's been quite a while.
Yeah,
it's long. It might be longer than that. It might be longer than that.
I mean, it's a interesting environment there. I think to your point, like Rocky Top is going every 30 seconds. It's just orange everywhere. And I think this is, in my opinion, the first time that we've seen a Tennessee team in quite a few years that actually can do some stuff that is up there as a contender to do some stuff. So I think it's a little different too. Like a couple of years ago, they were still on the downturn, in my opinion, where even though it was Tennessee, it was this is not really Tennessee.
Right.
2007 is the last time they lost to Tennessee.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was way.
We didn't play them for a while. We won the last 4. Yeah, we won the last 4.
They terminated the series.
It was a long time that they didn't play because you asked last week about Coach Auriemma and Coach Calhoun. There was an even bigger frost between Coach Auriemma and Coach Summit.
Yes. Yes, and they terminated the series as a result. I remember that. And Maria, I am a Caitlin Chen fan, but I do understand that she needs to do more with assists and facilitate and distribute, and she is not doing as much of that. And this was the first game she was tied for the leading scorer.
I'm saying the complete opposite of that. What I'm saying is that I think because of the style of guards that they have right now that dominate the ball and bring the ball up, her job is to get the ball over half court, right?
Yeah,
get us into our set, make some good cuts, make some passes here, make the cut to the high post that gets it to Paige in the corner. I I don't think we're going to see her have games like we did last year with Nico
No.
where she's going to have 10, 12 assists. I just don't think our offense is built the same way. Like, it's more open architecture this year with the type of
Right.
players we had, where I feel like last year, even though it was open architecture, it was a lot of like set plays where you were really trying to get it to one person in a specific spot, which Nika did. And we haven't really, like, outside of getting, like, if we get a clear steal, right? And we're talking against bad teams. We haven't really been a fast break team this year yet at all either.
No.
I feel like last year, with Nika's defensive prowess, we saw a little bit more of that where she would pick up those assists on the break too. So I'm not concerned with Caitlin Chen's assists so long as the offense is running well.
Right. No, I hear that. And the offense is certainly producing because obviously against Butler, again, double the triple digits, which is good to see. And I
Yeah,
think
let me interrupt you for a
now,
minute, man. I'm sorry. I can't take any of the statistics in the Big East seriously because
because they're so bad.
the league's so fucking bad. I
True.
mean,
That's why I said, like, we could say the offense is flourishing. Let's see how it is tomorrow.
right.
Like,
Right.
once we
Right.
see that tomorrow, I'll feel a little bit more confident because, I mean, we're playing teams that are like, they're just not good. They're just not good. I mean, we're winning
Right.
by 60. We're winning by 60 points.
Yeah, and it's not competitive.
No.
Another thing about tomorrow, Maria, that I think could be a concern is just, and I know they're kids. I know they're 18 to 23 years old, and I get it and stuff. We've got guys, some of our top players never play in the fourth quarter because the games are awful. Because
Right.
games are over by then.
Yep.
And you wonder about that. And the other thing, Tennessee's second in the country at 91.1 points per game. You can't let it become a track meet. That is not in your best interest. Now, our defense is really good, but again, it's got to be taken with a grain of salt
Because of
number 2 in the country defensively in points per game allowed. But again, that's against Butler and Xavier and all the St. John's and Seton Hall and Providence and Georgetown. All those
Nova,
all those schools that would be 30th in a 16-team SEC.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
I completely see that. So Tennessee will be, other than USC, the next major test along the road for the UConn women. As I said, I didn't say girls, I said women. And Tennessee and then South Carolina coming up will really kind of clear up the picture of where you see us at. And even the scoring itself, I mean, it's been pretty balanced out. Paige didn't even score over 20 points in either of the games because she didn't have to play as much. But who do you see, Maria, really stepping up? I mean, is it going to be Paige and Azzi that are just going to have to step up and take control of the scoring, and Sarah?
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, we need to have 3 kids tomorrow that score like 15 to 20 points to win.
Right.
That's just my opinion. To me, it doesn't really matter who those 3 people are because I think with UConn, like, depending on the night, you have so many different people that can step up and can score the ball. My anticipation, like if I'm Tennessee and I have these athletes, I'm pressuring the crap out of the wings. I'm denying Paige the ball. I'm denying Azzi the ball. And I'm letting Caitlin Chen and whoever, that other person is that's in the game try to get theirs. And I'm saying, like, I'm not going to get beat by Paige and Azzi tomorrow. That's me. And I think they have the athletic guards to do it. So I think that we're going to have to see some other people step up and play really well tomorrow outside of the normal 3, right? Like, I think Sarah's going to do her thing because I think she's a matchup problem for them because she can play inside and out. So she's going to probably have a smaller guard on her. So I would anticipate her scoring around the rim a little bit more tomorrow than normal. But I just think we're going to need other people, and we have to be able to sustain their speed. It's just way, way faster.
if they go with a different starting lineup and they take out Jana, who do you think they will put in? Will they go with KK? Will they go with Ashlyn? Who do you see stepping in?
I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see Aubrey a little bit more tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I know she's not like fully back, but from an athletic standpoint, she can sustain it and she can guard on the perimeter and in the post. I think you'll probably see Ashlyn come in first off the bench. Unless Caitlin comes out first, then you'll see KK. Um, but my fear with KK tomorrow, personally, is like you can't fight fire with fire. Like she's so fast
Yeah.
that you don't want to get into a game tomorrow where you're trying to play at Tennessee's speed. I think that's a recipe for disaster. You have to find a way to slow them down because they don't like playing slow. So I think if we have KK in there and she's going a million miles an hour and playing super, super fast, I think that plays right into Tennessee's hands. So if it's me, I'm only putting her in if we're down and we need to speed that up because I don't know that she has the ability to play at any other speed than fast.
Right.
So
I think Gianna's going to start. I don't.
You do think that? Okay.
I do
I don't
too.
think he's
But to
going
your
to
point,
change the starting. Right.
I think they go small pretty quick. That would
Yes.
be
Right.
That would be my guess.
You know, and another thing that's a big concern tomorrow, Tennessee's really good off the offensive glass. They only have 80 less offensive rebounds than they have defensive rebounds. So that means they score a lot on second chance points. So rebounding is going to be another difference tomorrow. And again, as Maria said at the beginning, one of the other things is the variable that's a variable in every game nowadays. That's the officiating. How is the game officiated? Do they let kids be physical? Are they going to call every ticky-tack foul? You know, I mean, I think that's a huge factor tomorrow night.
Well, and I think two things also that we got to watch for tomorrow night is because they take a lot of threes. When you talk about offensive rebounds, our guards have to rebound tomorrow.
Right.
Because if they're taking threes, you got a lot of long rebounds.
Long.
And I think that's where they clean up on the offensive boards because their guards are so quick to the ball. So I think you have that. But I think a big thing, like I was reading an article yesterday and it was saying like UConn has depth and can handle pressure. And I was like, I said, when have we had to handle pressure so far this year? We haven't, right? So the last time we saw like a ton of pressure was Ohio State in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 2 years ago. It was no bueno for us. And that includes Paige. I mean, Paige and AZ did horrible against that press. So we haven't seen this team really be pressed the way that Tennessee is going to do it tomorrow night. So I'm interested to see, you know, how we can take care of the ball. And again, just slow them down. I mean, we're balanced on offense. We're shooting really well, but you know, I think the press plays a huge factor as well.
Tennessee's taken 150 more threes than UConn in 2 fewer games. So the defense on the perimeter is also going to be equally important.
Yep.
And
if they shoot the ball well tomorrow, it's going to be a long game for us, in my opinion. That's just a lot of threes.
With the time they've had between the games, do you think that there will be enough time for coach to make adjustments and put different things in to counter Tennessee and slow them down?
Oh, yeah. What do we play Sunday?
Tomorrow.
No. We played Sunday, though.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think it's
probably
enough?
had off for a late day on Monday. You had yesterday and today.
And look, the UConn shooter, Maria, you know this better than anybody. UConn shoot-arounds are like another day of practice.
You know, it's funny you say that. I was laughing because the other day, you know, I told my players, hey, we're going to do like a shoot-around. And they came in like their pajama pants, right? And I was laughing because I remember my first shoot-around freshman year. And all 5 of us that were freshmen, we were like, oh, we got a shoot-around for an hour. So we showed up and like we went out to the court in our sweatpants. And everybody else was dressed in practice gear. And we were like, what's happening? They're like, yeah, no, you got to like get taped. If you get taped, get taped. That hour and a half shoot around is by far harder than some people's 2 to 3 hour practices. So that's 3 full practices that UConn has to make adjustments. I wouldn't even be shocked if they started implementing some stuff for Tennessee before they played the Butler game.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That,
I mean,
that
'cause
makes
what are
me
you going
feel a
to
little
do?
better.
Like, you're not going to spend 2 days changing stuff for Butler.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
You're actually probably putting some stuff in that you might want to use against Tennessee for Butler so you can see how it looks. So in terms of time and adjustments, yeah, we're fine there.
And then who do you guys have this week and this weekend for your schedule?
We play Eastern tonight. Our in-state.
Oh, that's your rival. Okay.
Yeah, one of my freshman post players is hurt. She's out, so that sucks. But yeah, in-state rival. So we play, and then we're off to Southern Maine this weekend.
Oh, that'll be a fun trip.
Portland.
Portland. By the way, Dave, your sister's awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you guys got to meet.
Want to move to Danbury, Connecticut next? She's great.
Yeah, no, she is great. She's great. She's. I'm glad you guys got to talk a little bit. You know what I mean?
She agreed to come on our pod, Conlon's Corner, just so you know.
Oh, really? Oh, she'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, great. Then I'll just get bashed the whole entire time.
Yeah, that was our plan.
I figured that's the plan. Yeah, just to rip me. She's got plenty of stories to do that with. So
I'm sure.
I definitely want to come on that too because I need to get some coming back too.
Yeah, you'll get good material then, no doubt about it.
Hey, who do you guys have for the Super Bowl? Joe, who you got?
I got a scoreless tie. I don't want either team to win.
All right, that's fair. But who do you think's going to win?
I think the Chiefs are going to win because I think there'll come some point where they'll get a ridiculous call in their favor, and they'll end up winning.
Oh, he's on that ship. Yeah, you know what, Joe? I am too. I am too.
But I have to root for the Eagles because I want I just have enjoyed Saquon Barkley this year, like revenge against the Giants for their faux pas of letting him go. Not that he would have done as well on that team.
Oh, not at all.
No, but
they actually did him a favor.
They did him a favor. They really did. You're right. They did him a huge favor. All
right, here's your Maria Conlon trivia question.
Oh, boy.
In her 2 championship games against Tennessee, how many points did Conlon score combined?
Ooh.
Is that for us or is that for
everyone? It's for everyone.
Well, I remember
19.
Pretty close.
I'll say.
Is that low or high? Is 19 low or high?
22.
No, 22's high. 19's close. 18.
17?
18. Wow. You were
last game as a Husky where she shot 1 for 4 from the floor, but 4 for 4 from the line. And then 11 points as a sophomore or junior. So
very nice, Maria.
Is that who you played against in the championship game? Your last year?
Was my Tennessee? Junior and senior year at the championship.
Yeah, there was always them in Tennessee.
I remember Maria in the championship game against Tennessee her last year. She balled out. I remember that because I remember the whole backdrop of her story of being from Connecticut, and they were really emphasizing that in the championship game on like the cast, and she absolutely balled out in that game.
I remember Diana kicking the ball after one of them. I can't remember which one.
That was senior year.
Yeah, that was great.
Wait a minute. You had 5 assists in a game?
What's up?
You had 5 assists in a game?
Oh, yeah. I had some games with 7 or 8, too.
You had 5 that last game.
Yeah. How many turnovers?
1. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And then junior year, I think I had, look at junior year. Maybe it was like, it could have been 7 assists that game, no turnovers. I forget.
Let me check.
Yeah. I think I had 1 turnover in both those Final Fours total.
No, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's in front of a tough environment.
Tennessee championship game, you had 6. In that Final Four, you had 9 assists and 1 turnover against Texas and Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's a decent assist to turnover ratio, right, guys?
Yes, Maria. Yes, Maria.
Very good.
It's very good. It's very good.
That's
Should
why
we
when
go-
I see like I have two guards on my team right now that have like 33 assists for the season and like 66 turnovers. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I
Oh my
legitimately
God.
don't think I turned it over 66 times in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, you turned it over 59 as a senior. So I'm
there you
going to
go.
say, I'm going to
How
say
many
yes.
assists, though? How many assists that year?
Let me see here. It's only got assists per game. Let me go back and check. This is highly entertaining. I know.
I can't believe that. Your top two guards.
Oh, wow. 100 assists to 59 turnovers. That's great.
That's
It's
a
almost
great
2 to 1.
ratio.
Yep.
That's
It's
a great
almost 2 to 1.
ratio. That's
Yep.
great. Well, I know you have to go, Maria, and
Yeah.
I wish you the best for
Good luck.
tonight. Good luck against Eastern.
Thank you. Joe, by the way,
And-
when do we get McNeely back? What's going on there?
Supposedly Friday, but who knows? And
yeah,
I
I
mean,
thought we
look,
were going to get him back from Marquette, but
when he comes back, he's not going to. I mean, he's not going to be in game shape for that team.
No.
That team plays balls to the wall.
he'll be
And-
ready for the Big East tournament. That's my
That's
prediction.
all. That you know what? That's
Yeah.
the big one.
Yeah. I will say though, and I'll leave you guys with this: Solo Ball is that guy.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to talk
Yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Solo Ball is that guy.
No question.
All right, guys. Always
Good
a
luck.
pleasure.
See you later.
Thanks. See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, Joe, we watched, Dave and I actually both watched the Marquette game.
Together?
And no, not
No.
together. I wish it would have been
You
together.
wanted to do a watch party, but it was my birthday, so
Yeah, Dave couldn't do it.
couldn't do it.
But Solo
I was enjoying
Ball,
a good Italian pasta dinner that night before the game. So
Nice.
Solo Ball is just absolutely incredible.
it was
Like
incredible.
I think he is unbelievable. Just the way that he scores, just the way that he can make things happen, just the way that he's a playmaker. And I think that they're going to be better off now with McNeely when he does come back. You have Solo Ball, who is kind of established himself now. I mean, not that he wasn't before, but he's kind of established himself now as someone they can rely on, someone they can go to, and someone who can put up points in a flurry if needed.
Well, don't forget one thing now. When McNeely comes back, he's going to take shots away from everybody.
That's right.
You know, like
He has to get his. I
Arabian's going to
100%
get his
agree.
shots. Sampson's going to get his. I mean, Stewart won't get anywhere near as many. So, you know, McNeely's going to take, you know, Ball might not, but I totally agree. You know, I think if Solo's not most improved player in the Big East this year, they shouldn't give that award out.
Right. No, I agree with you. I agree.
If he keeps shooting like this and plays the way he is he a guy that is going to be drafted?
No, not yet.
No, you would need another year.
His
Another year.
defense isn't good enough. He
That's what I
needs-
thought defensively.
He needs another year. And I mean, with no disrespect, he's 6'3". Is
Right.
he going to get those shots off in the NBA?
Yeah.
Well, we've seen UConn smaller guards not be able to get shots off in
Yep.
the NBA. So I'm just setting that up as a, you know,
Yeah.
now he's going to improve by the time he gets drafted. I would hope he wouldn't leave after this year.
I don't
No. Joe, did you for the DePaul game? Were you surprised it was kind of as close as it was?
Well, of course, obviously, I had said on the
Yeah.
show last Wednesday I thought they'd blow him out. Now I was
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
look, I don't agree with booing college kids.
No.
Even though they're paid athletes now,
Right.
it's a different than it was 20 years ago. But they played bad enough to be booed. But I didn't boo them. I would never boo at a college event, especially with a school I still work with.
Correct.
For 33 years. I would never boo. But they played like crap in the first half of that game.
Yeah. No, they did for sure. I mean, 29 points in the first half for a
Well, it's
UConn
not
team.
just the 29. It's how many they gave up.
Well, yeah, they gave up 37. I mean,
Yeah.
they were down
To
they were
DePaul.
down, and they came back. They came back at least, but they definitely did not look fantastic. Reed played well. Reed played well in 24 minutes out of him. It's just the same thing with Caravan and his inconsistency. 8 points. Solo is shining with McNeely not there. Caravan seems to really have dropped off, and like you said, he's a number two.
No,
That's where
I
he
think he's
belongs.
still a little. I think he's still a little banged up.
You still think he's banged up?
DR is very banged up.
Yeah.
And look, they need to DR on Friday night against St. John's because St. John's will pressure the
Yes.
crap out of you for 40 minutes.
Because St. John's, Dave, didn't we look at that? St. John's is currently first.
Yeah, they're
Right,
first. They only have
in
one
the
loss
Big
against
East.
the East. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what your thoughts even of Diarra in the last game. Like, there were times I was like, when they were starting to make a run, like Diarra, it seemed like he threw the ball away. You talked about that he dribbles around a lot. He did a lot of that even in the game when we were up big. Started dribbling around, threw the ball away. And obviously he's kind of like a Marbury point guard in the sense that he's still kind of a scorer at his roots, But I was curious what you thought about how he played in that game last game.
Well, he was playing on one leg, David.
Yeah.
So, but my theory has always been, maybe incorrectly, if you're that hurt, you shouldn't play.
You shouldn't be out there.
And if you're on the court injured, I don't want to hear about injuries. But having said that, it was hobbled, and you could see that by the fact he only played 25 minutes.
Right.
The only starter who played fewer was Stewart, who scored 3 hoops at the beginning of the game, and then they never found again.
Right.
And Mahaney was like a turnover machine when he was in. And that he turned the ball over.
Well, they all did. They had 20.
Yeah.
For them to win that game, having 25 turnovers and giving up 29 points off turnovers, that was a minor miracle. That could have easily been a loss. But Marquette, I think Marquette's shown themselves in the last 2 games against UConn, against St. John's. They're really just a helter-skelter team. Everybody, Shaka Smart's a really good coach. I get it. But they don't look like they run anything.
Oh, well, the one guy was just beating the point guard was just beating him off the dribble and going to the basket. He did 4 drives in a row when they were coming back.
Yeah.
There was and then he just threw up a random 3 after he had beat us off the dribble 4 times in a row. I was like, why would he do that? Because he wasn't a great, I can't think of the name, but he wasn't a great shooter, but he was fast. I mean, he went by us 4 times in a row. And, but then he threw up a random 3, with no setup. He just dribbled right down, threw up a 3, missed it, and then we came back and we drilled one. It
was probably Cam Jones.
It was Jones. Yeah, it was
Jones. Player.
He's a bullet. Yeah, he's a bullet.
Yeah, but look, that's good to get out of there with a win.
Yeah,
big win. Yeah,
starts this 3-game gauntlet. Now you've got a St. John's team playing with incredible confidence. The St. John's team that has just struggled in recent years against UConn. I think Friday night. I think Friday night's going to be an interesting night at Gimple. It's $2 beer night, which is never a good thing, especially on a Friday. I think Friday night's going to be very interesting.
But obviously it's a good matchup, and UConn should have a good opportunity to win that game with or without McNeely.
I think they don't have a shot without McNeely.
They don't have a shot without McNeely.
Nope. I think without McNeely, they don't have a shot.
And you don't see him being back by Friday.
I think he's back. I just don't think he's
back. Okay, I get you on that.
And he's not a game speed. You
Right.
guys know this from your football days. When you've missed a month of games,
Yeah,
2 weeks of practices, you don't come back at 100%.
not even close. Not
Right.
even close. No.
Right.
It takes a while to get that.
Look, him at 70% is a really good player, but I don't think anybody has the right to think he's going to be 100% and expect that.
Has he been out?
If he can give him 20 minutes, score 10 points, grab 5 rebounds, dish out a couple of assists, I think Dan would sign up for that.
Has he been out a full month now?
Yeah.
Or has it been? It has been a full month.
Yeah, it happened January 1st. It's February 4th.
That's right. That's right. I mean, high ankle sprains are so tough because they never ever heal. I mean, you have to stay completely off them for them to even have a chance for them to heal, and it's always reoccurring. It's good that they gave him this extra time off, and hopefully he comes back a little bit faster from it.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with giving him extra time off.
Well, he needed it.
I think he needed it because he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, he needed the full month to come back from it. Dave, you ever play with a high ankle sprain?
Not since high school.
Yeah, they're not
Now,
fun.
at college, I was lucky. I didn't have any of that. Everything else, neck and everything for playing linebacker, but never anything on my ankles. Joe, I had a question about. Did you see the article they had about the $100 million renovation in Gamble?
Yes. Gamble, yep.
So what is the? Do you know any of the details of that? And what?
Well, I think. I mean, look, they put in beautiful new scoreboards last year.
Yeah.
A new floor. I think this is more, as David said in the story by Ken Goslin from The Current. This is a lot about extremities. It's about, and they've also improved the Wi-Fi, which for members of the media is been
it was awful
at Gamble. It's about improving concession stands. It's about adding a second concourse.
Is it more seats too?
No.
Okay.
Interesting. So, but they're going to add everything else around it. So the structure on the outside will remain the same, but they're just going to be restructuring inside. That's interesting.
It's going to be shiny and new inside.
Wow.
They want the experience to be better. Better. I don't think the locker rooms are going to change because the locker rooms are what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
And frankly, the only time they're there to use the locker rooms and stuff is game day. Everything else is across the street at Worth.
At their the practice center.
Right.
Can I ask you a NBA question?
Yeah, of course.
Everyone went nuts over this trade between the Lakers and the Mavericks with Luka and the center for the Lakers,
Anthony Davis.
AD. Yeah.
Yep. Davis.
What were your thoughts on this trade? Because everyone is complaining about it. There's protests in the streets in Dallas. Everyone says the Lakers got the better end of the deal. And, Silver should have vetoed it. What did you think about it?
Well, first off, no, he shouldn't have because it's a legitimate trade.
Right. But I know Stern vetoed trades in the past.
Not really. I think that's a wives' tale from what I hear from people who know.
Oh, okay.
Who know the NBA. Look, right. I think the bottom line is if you're the Mavericks, you better win now because you traded a guy who's 6 years younger, who is a institutional player in the league. I mean, is a guy who's been he's a generational talent.
Yeah.
So
which you don't see.
Yeah, I mean, and you're giving up 6 years. Does he appear out of shape? Yeah. Is he the best defender in the world? No. Did he take his team to the NBA Finals last year? Yes.
And almost averaged a triple-double.
There was something with the GM too that I read. I don't know if it's true. Like the GM doesn't like him.
You know what? I heard that too. I wouldn't. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt that. I just think they didn't get enough back in return.
Yeah.
would be
No.
what I would say. They you know, you got to go to every team in the NBA and say, what do you give me for Luka? Go to the Celtics and say, would you give me Tatum? Go to the Knicks and say, would you give me Cat? Go to whomever and ask if they would give you that player. The haul they got for him wasn't anywhere near good enough.
Right. No, that's kind of why I wanted to ask, because it seemed like they gave up the future or mortgaged it because they think they can win now with AD, and I'm not so sure that's even
I don't
possible.
think they can. No, they're not.
I don't think so either.
You
I don't know why they think that was the missing piece for them to be a championship team, or if it was just more about getting rid of Luka.
I think a little of both. You know,
Yeah.
NBA people who I listen to on the radio talk about the fact that the league is changing, where one of the things in the league now is you want two bigs as rim protectors. And
Right.
now that you got AD, Dallas has three. You know, the Celtics have Horford and Porzingis. You know, I mean, the Cavaliers, who are one of the league's better teams, have Mobley and the big guy who used to play for the Nets, Jared Allen. You know, the OKC has Hartenstein, and when he's healthy, Chet Holmgren. So the league is changing a little bit. And now if you're Dallas, you've got three rim protectors, but I just, you know, they've changed the entire look of their team. They've got guys, you know, their core now are 31, 32, and 33 years old. So you better win now.
Right. I had a question because I was just curious if you knew, recruiting wise, how is UConn doing? Is there anyone on their radar? Anyone being talked about for the men or women? Is top recruits coming in for next year?
3 McDonald's All-Americans coming in on the men's side. That's the first time
they're already signed. And
oh yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
You know, the women only have a couple of players signed already. They don't have a top 5 recruit, which doesn't mean they're not going to get one.
Right.
But no, but again, you know what? Here's another pet peeve of mine. all this 5-star, 4-star, you don't know how a kid's going to play in college.
No, it's a crapshoot.
It's a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. So
we were talking about that the other day, watching the UConn recruits coming in for football. The transfers.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah. We went through the film that we saw from the transfers and the high school kids. And it's interesting to see the transfers high school film because you can't obviously see a lot of their game film because not many of them played. And then we watched some of the incoming freshmen that they brought in, especially the quarterback from Virginia, the state player of the year. And we were just saying how he seems kind of limited with the throws that he makes and doesn't make any of the tough throws. Everything's a fade ball. Everything's downfield, which kind of was surprising. And the lineman from Notre Dame was just he was a monster. I didn't know he was a local guy, but he was his high school film is literally, it looks like him destroying nursery school kids.
Yes.
Which was most surprising. So I was just curious, basketball wise, it's gotta be different than that with how they do everything.
Well, because you got AAU in the mix. You know,
yes.
A lot of these kids are recruited by what they do at AAU and not necessarily at the high school, because you're playing the thought is you're playing better competition at the AAU level because it's all quote unquote all-star teams. But even that, you know,
it's a business.
The AAU coaches don't know the kids as well as their high school coaches do. But
no.
Nobody deals with the high school coaches anymore.
No, nobody goes through them. The legendary Chris D is on.
Wow.
And, he wanted to say hello to the legendary Joe D. Chris D is our famous commenter.
Yes, no, I know who he is.
You know who he is?
Well, I mean, I know him
He-
from the show.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're still trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah, Christy gets me in trouble for going on rants. So, do you see the St. John's game being more of a challenge than the Marquette game was for UConn?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it
Yeah,
will be. Okay.
I'm not sure how you couldn't. I mean, they're a better team.
Right.
And,
No,
and,
the only reason I asked was because I know that Marquette was ranked fairly.
eh,
Yeah. No, that's why I asked, was because Marquette's ranking, and I didn't see St. John's, even though despite they're number one in the conference, our conference is not obviously respected compared to the others. So that's why I was curious about it. Being number one in
What
the
is
Big
St.
East.
John's NIL? Do they have?
They raise some
Are
money?
they
Yeah.
like? Are they on the level of us? Are they? Do they have more for basketball specifically? Or I didn't know. I was curious because
oh yeah, no, they're not hurting.
they're not hurting at all.
They're not
Yeah.
hurting.
They got in so many good players fast. With
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, look at the kid they got from Seton Hall, Kadari
Yes.
Richmond. The only reason they got him is they showed him the money.
So-
Seton Hall's in trouble.
And to his credit, as much as people want to despise Patino, he speaks he speaks what he's talking, what he's
Right.
thinking. And he said the only reason we got Kadari Richmond is because we could offer him more money.
Right. Why do you think that they're not ranked, St. John's?
I thought they were ranked.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
right. What are you talking
They
about?
are ranked. Okay.
Yeah, they were higher than UConn.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Unless something changed. I mean, when I looked last week, they were ranked higher than UConn.
No, they are ranked higher than UConn. Yeah.
The schedule I had said they were not ranked. What are they ranked right now?
I think 19th or something like that. I don't know off the top of
Is
my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're 20-3. They're 11-1. Yeah, they are better, much better. I was just curious. Yeah, okay. I see it now. So this is huge for us. They're ranked 19th, 18th in that range. This is huge for UConn to take control of the Big East, to move up their ranking. Regardless of that, they have to finish the season strong. I mean, do you see them, Joe? I mean, they're obviously, it's going to be tough for them to obviously get a number one unless they win the tournament. Do you see them as
even if they win the tournament, they're not getting a number one.
they're a 3, 4, or 5, right? Would you say?
Well, right now everybody has them as a 7, 8, or 9.
Wow. I didn't think they would be that low.
Well, look, I mean, but that's now. That has
right.
nothing to do with what it's going to be like in the middle of March.
Right. Right.
All these Joe Lenardi's who I respect, all these bracketologists. It's as of now. It's not. It doesn't mean it's gospel, but as of now, like I'm looking up here, I think Lenardi has them as a 7 or an 8.
Wow. And do you still see 3 teams getting in? That would make the most sense.
Oh, from the Big East? No, I think there'll be 4.
Okay.
I mean, because St. John's is getting in.
It'll be St. John's, UConn, Marquette, and Creighton, right?
Like Lenardi's got him 7th in the West, playing Ohio State in the first game, and then probably playing the 2 seed, Iowa State, in the second game.
Right. Yeah, I think that's high.
What's that?
I think that's high for them. I think they should be lower seeded. I think that when they won a couple years ago, they were a 5. I thought that made sense. I could see them being a 5. But even if they finish out strong, even if they win the Big East tournament, what do you think their ceiling is?
Oh, I mean, it's hard to say now.
Yeah.
But I think the bottom line is they could be anywhere. They could keep playing well and be a Final Four team. Although I doubt it. I don't see
Right. No,
as,
but I was saying more their ranking going into the tournament. If they were to win the tournament, the Big East tournament, and win out the rest of the schedule with McNeely back, they dominate Marquette again. They beat St. John's twice, Seton Hall, Creighton, Villanova. I mean, they just run the table. They get hot at the right time.
well, they're not going to run the tables, so let's take that out of the mix.
There's no way they're going to run the table.
Not with the schedule they have left. No,
No, not with Marquette, not with 2 games.
And they were 4 in 2023.
They were a 4. Okay, that was off one. Well, thanks for the fact check. But do you think they're realistically, even if they take a couple losses, they have a legitimate shot to win the Big East tournament?
Oh, sure.
And if they do that, could they end up a top 3 seed?
Maybe.
Okay.
But not necessarily. Winning the Big East now is not assure you of being a top 3 seed.
What do you think, David?
That's changed a lot. That's changed a lot how the Big East is viewed.
No, the Big East is dropped
really,
off.
really. I mean, when we were talking about the women earlier, when I look at the scores of the Big East games, it's actually like it's mind blowing how bad the on the women's side.
That's how it used to be when Diana and Maria played. They used to roll through the Big East. The Big East, the only challenge was Notre Dame because Notre Dame was in the Big
I feel
East.
like the SEC has gotten better, and that's kind of made it even harder to get good players in the Big East. Especially in the Northeast, that's a big deal too. Seton Hall must have no money because is Holloway still the coach there? He can't get any players,
right?
And he had that magical ride at St. Peter's, and then they went over to Seton Hall, and they said, oh, they were going to get him all, get him money, and he got nothing. He has no money. It
really takes like a Mike Burton, like an alumni, to step up and say, "I got this," and they're going to form a collective and reach out and get those donations.
Seton Hall has money. They have money. But they have alumni. They just, I don't know. They must not have a way of doing it. Whereas UConn, obviously, UConn has football, which helps from a standpoint of that you have to raise money.
Right.
Yes.
So you're getting in the mode of raising money because otherwise you won't have any wins at all in football if you don't raise any money.
But like Providence doesn't have any
money.
NIL. No.
That's what I'm saying. They have rich alumni these places, but they're not. I don't know that.
Like Georgetown, I would have expected.
St. John's did a great job of that, and I think that Patino's the guy that was able to rally and get those Wall Street guys that are alumni there to give dough.
I think you got 4 teams in the Big East that can compete with each other NIL wise: UConn, Villanova, Creighton, and St. John's.
So Villanova does get NIL money.
Oh yeah, everybody else is at a different level.
Yep.
Wow. So I mean, it is imperative. Hopefully things.
What is Creighton? Because they're what? Nebraska? Where are they? Nebraska? No.
Creighton's in Nebraska. Yeah.
So what is their? I'm not familiar. Other than watching them in basketball, what is is that like considered a really good university? Is that it is?
Yeah.
Okay, so out there, that's a high education. So you have a lot more alumni that would be very successful. I'm guessing then is and it probably isn't that many great basketball institutions, right? So out there, so they're able to raise money because that's interesting. That Creighton has been able to do that, because Nebraska's not like
flush.
Basketball. Yeah, they must just do a great job. That guy's an excellent coach. I mean, I haven't watched him coach. I know he battles with Hurley, but he
everyone battles with Hurley, I think.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think everyone battles with Hurley. So Joe, as we close out, your prediction for St. John's officially and Creighton. I mean, they got two battles coming up before our next episode. What do you see happening?
I think you take 1-1. You'd like 2-0,
Yep.
but I think you'd take
You'd be happy.
1-1.
You'd be happy with the 1-1.
I think that's realistic if you go 1-1 because it's two really good. Now, look, they could go 2-0.
Sure.
They could go 0-2.
Of course, because they, Creighton is going to be obviously a tough one for them, and St. John's is an unknown for them because they haven't played them yet. It's amazing they haven't played them this late in the season at all.
Well, I think that's all the TV dominance. I think they wanted
to they wanted to say they always save the best for last. And then going into for this week for the women, Tennessee, number 19th ranked Tennessee, Providence on Sunday. Those are the two games.
Not even mention the Providence game because it won't be a game.
The Providence game won't be. Providence game won't be a game.
Right. But I think they'll beat Tennessee. I think they're playing really well.
I think they are
I think
too.
They'll find a way to slow Tennessee down. I think Beckers will go off. I think it's a game for her to get 30.
She's been slow the last two games with her scoring, but obviously
you can't worry about. And she played better on Sunday, but you can't worry about what she does in games
against DePaul.
Against teams that can't compete
with
UConn. You know, where you want to see her shine is Tennessee and South Carolina, just like she did against Southern Cal. So I think Paige will have a big game. I think Strong will have a big game. And to Maria's point, I think somebody else, be it Shade, be it Chelly, be it Fudd, will step up, and UConn will be able to slow Tennessee down.
Yeah. I think they'll beat Tennessee. I think they have always taken care of Tennessee, and I think with the way
they haven't always taken care of Tennessee.
Well, I mean, that's the reason they got out of the series, because they had beaten Tennessee in the championship. The regular season
Tennessee had won 3 straight games against UConn when Tennessee ended the series.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know.
Steve, never let the facts get in the way of your narrative.
No, never. But I didn't know that before.
Be strong. Be strong in your misbeliefs.
They basically canceled the Tennessee series because the coaches hated each other. That was really the reason why.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Pat Summitt did not like the way that Gino did things.
Interesting.
Right.
That's all it was.
Did things in what way? Coaching or recruiting?
Coaching, I think. Yeah, she just didn't. She just didn't like them, and so Tennessee won 3 straight games, and then said, "Poof, that's it. That's it with the series."
Wow. But UConn had beaten them in the NCAA championship, right?
Well, before that, UConn had beaten them 6 straight times.
Yes, that's what that's what I remembered.
But you conveniently forgot the 3 Tennessee wins.
Yeah, I did. I was out of school at the time. That's kind of why I probably forgot it. That's probably why I forgot it. But okay, it's good to now. The history behind the rivalry, is this a one-off, or did they sign a schedule home and home for the next couple of years? Is it?
I'm not sure. I think they did, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay, that's good.
I'm sure if UConn's going down there, then
they're coming here
at some point.
Okay, good. Because it was frustrating to look at the football schedule and that Syracuse refused to come here for this year's game. I think they signed a 2-1 with Syracuse, and they just, like you said, you were correct on the BC deal. The BC deal was announced. They are playing BC in football the last game of the year. So that's good to see that.
The last game of the year.
It's not the last game of the year. Oh, it was the 12th game of the year. It was their 12th game.
That doesn't make it the last game of the year.
No, I misspoke. I thought it was the 12th game of the year.
It's not.
It's not. No, I thought it was in October.
It is.
Yes.
So
yeah,
why would October? Let me
October.
ask you this then.
Okay.
Shoo, don't laugh. Why would October be the last game of the year, Steve?
Well, it would only be the last game of the year if they were playing that bad and obviously lost, and the rest of the season
Even
meant
if they were
nothing.
playing bad, it wouldn't be the last game of the year. October.
I didn't mean it as the last game of the season. Season. I would have said last game of the season. I meant last game. They needed another opponent to hit 12 games.
Nice.
I see what you're saying.
That was the last game.
They added. The last game.
Yes. So they have a 12-game schedule, which is what they needed, and they got.
Don't worry, Steve. You're a legend.
I believe me. I know I'm a legend. I'm a legend in my own mind.
That's it. That's all.
They have 3 games after Boston College.
Right.
Duke and Florida Atlantic.
Right.
Okay,
And
I'll tell you what. I look at the schedule.
I know.
9-3, 8-4 at the worst.
No, I know, but we were talking about it, and you're 100% right. Unless they get some solid opponents to come to the Rent, they're never going to advance as far as they could. I mean, if you're getting 20,000 people to the Rent for a football game, that's not good enough.
Well, but Steve, you know this. You know the fact that it's going to be hard to get good opponents to come to the Rent. Although in 26, they've got Maryland, Indiana, and Syracuse coming to the Rent.
So they did get the 2 and 2. Okay, that's much better.
27, they've got North Carolina coming and Syracuse.
Okay, so that's much better. Good. So we'll get to see Belichick again. It's good. So they signed it. They signed a home and home.
Let me give you this just in. Okay. If Belichick's still coaching North Carolina by 2027, you got a scoop.
Everyone has told me that he's going to be there for like 2 years and gone.
And then his son's going to take over.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that he would do that.
Why?
He's going to set his son up, who's been rising up pretty highly. Wasn't he at Washington or something?
His son was not rising up highly. His son was
it was just a defensive coordinator
for 1 year. For 1 year, he was the DB.
Right. Now he's set.
So he wasn't even the DB's coach. He was a safeties coach for the.
So after 2 more years, I'm just telling you of what the reality is.
I know he's trying to set him up. 2
years of him being there, 2 or 3 years of him being there, he will be the next head coach. If Bill succeeds, he will be the next head coach, and the whole structure and the whole system will be in place. So when he moves in, they'll have the GM system, whatever their NAL system is. All that stuff is it. Because I saw the UNC basketball. Who's the UNC basketball coach? Is it
Hubert Davis?
Hubert Davis, yes. Yeah. He was complaining that they don't have the structure on the basketball side. Yeah. Well, he said we don't have it to compete with. I don't know if he said to compete with Duke or to compete with the way they need to. He said we don't have the structure.
Yeah.
That surprised me because football has.
So. Yeah, well, Mike Lombardi's been working overtime for them. So I didn't know that he would abandon getting the NFL record for wins like this. If he was going to take the UNC job, he signed a 5-year contract. I expected him to stay at least 4. I didn't think he would leave after 2 and turn it over to his son. Now, if he has 2 extravagantly great years, phenomenal years, as you would say, Dave,
yes,
I could see that happening. But otherwise, I expected him to stay for the majority of his contract.
Yeah.
Now, nobody.
And he'll just be a consultant after that, in my opinion. Or
he'll be an analyst or whatever. Yeah. So I'll just remember
hang out with his 25-year-old girlfriend.
His 25-year-old girlfriend. So I'll just remember on February 5th, 2025, that I have stated Bill Belichick will last longer than 2 seasons at North Carolina. By the time he's going to be coming to stores, baby, He's going to be coming to stores to play the Huskies. So just remember that. Just remember that. I forgot to even introduce everyone. So for the icon himself, the voice of the Huskies, Mr. Joe D'Ambrosia, who had about a normal number of fact checks today. He got right. And the coach, David
No, it's
Schumer.
not that I got him right, Steve. It's that you got him wrong.
There you go. There you go.
Kind of
Yes, he caught me. He caught me several times, and he got them right, and I got them wrong. And for the coach himself, David Schumann, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe, in my own mind.
Even though you're not the most accurate.
Even I'm not the most accurate, but I'm the most entertaining.
Yes, that's for sure.
Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life. Or me.